everyone, what's up and welcome to another social media manager slash freelancing Q&A. Just in case you're new here, my name's Latasha and I have been involved in this freelancing social media management world since about 2013. So I have a lot to say and I'm always happy to answer your questions in these videos. So let's hop in. First one says how to get clients and what is the best way to reach a company slash brand. So if you haven't seen, just posted it a couple weeks ago, my 50 ways to get freelance clients video. I will link that up here in the cards. And I will also link another video that I did a while ago about all of the ways that I've ever found clients. So hopefully those will be helpful. But in a nutshell, the best ways that I've ever found clients have been, well, I first got started on Upwork. Another one was a referral of a friend. Somebody knew that I did video and they introduced me to one of their friends who needed video work done. And then also content marketing, specifically YouTube for me, that's my platform of choice, but it could also be a blog, it could be a podcast. Those are really valuable. They take time. You know, that's a method of getting clients that definitely takes time because you need to like build up your library. But once that does start working, that's my favorite place to get clients because people already feel like they know me and they have already sort of qualified me in their head. They kind of know that I'm the person for them already, and they just need to confirm it on a discovery call. So I would say that those are the best ways. How to actually reach a company slash brand. So if you're talking about actual cold outreach, I actually don't do a ton of cold outreach and I never really have besides Upwork, but I mean, that's not really cold outreach. That's like a job board. But what I would do a lot is if there was a company that I knew I wanted to freelance for or essentially pitch them, I would try to find who some of their leaders were and friend them or follow them, connect with them rather on LinkedIn. And I also have some resources on LinkedIn, so you might want to check those out if you're not really sure how to use LinkedIn. But that is my way of kind of making a cold introduction without doing a cold pitch. And I wouldn't send them a message saying, hey, book some time on my calendar, buy this, book this. I would just let them know, hey, it's great to connect with you. I'm a freelancer and I really like your company. And then you kind of get the conversation started that way. Next question, love your videos. How do you manage and schedule all of your content creation for your clients? On Instagram, for example, would you use an Instagram planner app? And could you give us an example? So I actually do not use planner apps. I know I'm like old school, I guess, but I do have a template that I use. It's just an Excel file. And this is actually one of the templates that's available in my social media management toolbox. So I will of course link that down below, but I'll show you on the screen here just a little example of what it is. It's nothing too complex. That's how I prefer to plan out my content actually. It's free, it's nice because you can communicate back and forth with the client or with anyone on your team really easily without having to like share logins. I mean, I've used Planoly before, but I personally don't find it to be all that helpful, to be honest with you. I often get the question about stories. So I do also have a stories planner in that toolbox. Again, it's just a simple drag and drop just so you can kind of plan out your content for you so you know what you're posting. And then when it's actually time to post the stories, I just do little calendar blocks. I just do 15-minute increments, put a little meeting on my calendar or whoever on the team is going to be posting that story. And I actually really like that strategy because it forces me to engage. I use that 15 minutes to post the stories and then also, check the inboxes, check comments, things like that. So that's just what works for me. I'm not overloaded with clients. I don't take on 50 clients that I'm managing all myself. So that's what works for me personally. I'm new to the channel and a student. What's the best way to build my resume in college so I can have a competitive edge over my peers? I think this is a great question. I started freelancing in college and it's exactly what I just said. I started on Upwork and then I got a couple of referrals and just did projects here and there when they came to me. And I think that, just those things alone did give me a competitive edge because those are some of the things that I cited in my first corporate job when I was applying, and which I really think did kind of help push me over the edge. They also helped me get more freelance clients while I was side hustling and all of that. So if you can take on a couple of projects, I think whatever you know that you can manage and do really well. I know that you're probably very busy. I certainly was in college, so I wasn't taking on, 20 clients. I was just taking on a gig here and there, something that I knew I could really manage and do really amazing at so that I could get good reviews, testimonials, feedback on my Upwork profile, all of that. Another thing that I did when I was in college was have passion projects. So I had a YouTube channel, I had a blog, I even started an Instagram account. It was called As Seen in Kalamazoo. It was like for my hometown, and I still have the keys to it, but it's not active at all. But it accrued like a little bit of followers, like a couple hundred followers or something like that. And I could use that to kind of speak to my ability to build a community and just test out different things on there. So I definitely recommend having some kind of a passion project. It could be a blog, it could be a podcast, whatever it is, but that will also speak for your work. Do you need to create content like video and photos for your clients, or do you just wait for them to provide it and post it on Instagram? So you don't need to. I mean, I think this is the thing about freelancing. There's a lot of different roles that you could play, and I don't think you need to play them all. And I actually probably don't recommend playing them all, because it kind of is that like jack of all trades, master of none type thing, right? So I personally actually specialize nowadays in social media strategy and content creation. Those are my two specialties. So I don't take a ton of full service clients anymore where I'm actually posting their content, I'm actually responding to comments every day. I do take some if I'm really passionate about them, or if we've been working together for a while or whatnot. But mostly what I'm doing is writing the strategies and creating the content. So that's my specialty. Your specialty might be something else. Your specialty might be copywriting. You might be, amazing at writing Instagram captions, and you batch those out for your clients, or you might do a little bit of everything and do more of a full service model. So there are different things that you can do, is like the long story short. When I was very first starting, I was often doing everything. So I would create content, and then I would write the copy, and then I'd schedule, and then I manage things. But if you're gonna do that, have a package for that. Like make sure that you are pricing accordingly, because content creation takes a ton of additional time. Now, I would also work with clients who did have maybe an in-house photographer, or they already had a contract with a photographer or videographer or graphic designer, and so they would just be feeding that content to me. And that would be a different package, right? Because that's going to be priced differently. I mean, if I'm just literally posting what they already have and writing captions for it, then that is going to cut down on my workload quite a bit. So I would basically have two different packages. Strategies to separate work time versus personal time. Yes, this is so important. So a couple quick things. I like to set office hours for myself, and I like to really try to stick to them. Of course, there's nights, and if you watch my Week in My Business series, yes, of course there's nights when I end up working late, but for the most part, Monday through Friday, especially on Friday. Friday is like a short day for me. I stop working at about 3 or 4. During the week, I try my very best to stop working around dinner time, and I will actually power down my computer. I will close the door to my office and turn the light off. Like I have this kind of wind down, shut down type routine. This is my first year having a home office. For the longest time, I was like working in my dining room. So I know that can be hard when you're kind of, splitting your physical space even, but put your computer away, stow it away somewhere if you can. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. Also having a clear break in your day. So maybe it's every evening you go for a walk, or you start making dinner. Like for me, dinner is kind of like my break. Like I know I'm turning off of the day and into the evening and into my family time, my lifetime. So having those little routines I find really helps. Even changing my clothes, I'll often take off my makeup and, take off my business attire, which is, said loosely. Obviously working from home, I'm still dressed pretty casually, but I'll put on pajamas, or I'll put on like yoga pants or whatever, just to kind of break up the day. Okay, so this is a very hot topic. How do you know how many clients you can handle / should take on at one time? And then I got another question that said, how do you know when you're at full capacity with clients? And then I got a DM recently that asked me something very similar. This is one of the hardest questions to answer without knowing variables, right? Like I need to know how much you're charging. I need to know, are you working alone or with a team? And I need to know what your packages look like. Because if you're literally just posting photos that are already taken, designs that are already designed, captions that are already written, and you're literally just posting them onto Instagram or whatever platforms, I mean, I could probably do like 20 or 30 clients a month realistically. I mean, I don't know. But, the fact is, just like I said, everybody's packages look different. Everybody's areas of expertise look different. So most of us are probably going to be doing some type of content creation or copywriting or content curation, finding things from the web that you can use. Like there's such varying levels of of work there. So I'll tell you, when I was working 100% on my own, just as a freelancer, I would say I was pretty tapped out at about three to four. Four is probably pushing it, full service clients. Now, I do have a small team now, and like I said, the scope of my work has changed so much that I don't really think it's super helpful to even get into that, because my business, that side of my business, the full service stuff, isn't the majority of my business anymore either. I also have courses, I also do YouTube, I do a lot of things, so I don't really know that that's super helpful. But I think the best thing for this, and I actually go through this with my coaching clients, I have like this worksheet that we do where I want you to put in what you want to make every year. And then I want you to work backwards on that. So say, okay, you want to make $100,000 a year. That's like what, 8,000 or something like that per month. What are the packages? What are your most popular packages that you offer? Let's say it's $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month, whatever. I'm already lost at the math. I'm useless at this point. Okay, let's just do it. Let's just do the math. 100,000 divided by 12 is 8,300 divided by 1,500. So that would mean that you need to take 5.5, round up. So you need to take 6 clients a month at $1,500. So then what I need you to do is I need you to think, okay, what can I realistically do 6 times in a month? You know what I mean? Can you do full service end-to-end social media management? Does that make sense for that $1,500 price point? Does that make sense for this workload? If it does, perfect. There you go. That's what you need to sell. But a lot of times that might not be realistic. So maybe it's you're raising the rates, or you're hiring some help. And then also, if you hire help, what can you do with 1 extra person? Can you maybe, let's see, 6, can you do 8 clients and then figure out what is 8 times 1,500 times 12? Then you're at 144,000 for the year. Obviously that's revenue and you need to pay your teammate and all that, but you understand how this works. That's kind of like the breakdown of how it works. And tracking your time also really helps with those projections too. So I always recommend the tool Toggle, just so you can figure out, how much time are these tasks taking me, and is 6 clients actually realistic? Hey Latasha, is a website essential? And if so, what content should be included on this site? I would say yes. I'm not gonna skirt around it anymore. Think about it. Would you work with a company who didn't have a website? For me, it's pretty much no. Like, there are pretty few companies that I would work with that do not have a website. So yes, I think it's important. It doesn't have to be fancy though. It can be 1 page, really and truly. I understand the value of design. I can appreciate good design, but I don't think it's 100% necessary for everybody, especially when you're first starting out. So I think it needs to have an about section. So I need to see your face. I need to see whether it's an agency that you have and you have a team, or whether it's just you. I really think it's important to put your face on your website in an about section. It doesn't have to be front and center, but I do think that you need to prove that you're a real person and just tell a little bit about your qualifications, like who you are, what your experiences has been, things like that. It also needs to have a services section. So I need to know what services you offer, even if it's just pretty high level and pretty broad. Do you do social media management? Do you do strategy? Do you do creation? Do you do advertising? Etc. And then I need you to have a contact section, somewhere where I can send a form in, and ideally an email address that's visible so I can send you an email if I prefer, and some way for me to get started, whether that's a form, a checkbox, a discovery call booking, something like that. And brownie points for having social media icons linked somewhere. I think as a social media manager in particular, it's important to kind of, what do they say? Eat your own dog food, if you will. Have you ever felt so down and with no motivation about your career? Have you ever felt lost? If so, how did you manage? I have. I would say I felt that way when I was working in corporate. I just got to a point where I felt like I wasn't using my skills and expertise. I was just kind of going through the motions, and I felt like there were a lot of opportunities that I could have been a huge help to. And I didn't get those opportunities to actually use the skills that I was good at. And I think that's kind of where I decided, I need to give myself a promotion. You know what I mean? And I always talk highly of my time, I think that every experience is given to us for a reason. So take that for what it is. I'm not talking down on anyone by any means. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have felt that way. In terms of my business, I wouldn't say that I felt that way yet, but I have felt like stressed. I definitely have felt like my business was running me. I was, just serving my calendar. I was at mercy of my calendar, and that is not a good feeling. And I felt that way recently. I felt pretty burnt out by my calendar. I talked about it last week in my business, so I'll link that if you want to watch that. But basically, I needed to take control. I needed to take the reins and say, no, I own this business. I am going to dictate when I'm working. I'm going to change things. I'm going to raise my rates because I can't be serving 20,000 people every day, etc. How do you get a client to understand the importance of an onboarding questionnaire? So I would make sure that this is just a step in the process and you explain that on your first touch, your first discovery call or whatever point of contact you have with them, whether it's an email, discovery call, a meeting, you explain to them, great, if you'd like to move forward, what I'll do is I'll send you over the contract and a welcome kit, an onboarding kit, whatever it is that you want to call it. And you just explain that. That is the next step in the process. If you would like to work with me, you got to do these things. I need you to sign a contract. I need you to read through this material. I need you to, whatever it is that you have set up for them. And I think that's the other trick too, is to make sure that it isn't overwhelming. Like I kind of try to get the essential things done first. So I send through like the contract is if nothing else that needs to be done, right? Get that in your mind. You always need a contract. That is just like my rule. And then also sending over like a welcome kit that has my business hours and stuff like that, just so that it gives me peace of mind that I have given them what they need to be successful. And then just depending on the project, it might be a survey, it might be something else, but I try to kind of prioritize it, right? Don't send them everything at once. Don't send them 20 pieces of paper at once that they need to go through and spend hours on, because that would overwhelm me. But if you just say, hey, sign this contract and read through this welcome kit, and then once I get the contract back, then I will send over a quick onboarding survey. To me, that feels a little bit more achievable, but maybe that's just me. I'll also say if your client is refusing to do this stuff, I know it's hard to think about, but maybe they're not the right client for you, because I'm honestly at the point where if a client won't do something that I need to be successful for them, if they refuse to set up a Facebook pixel, if they refuse to send me over content that I know that they have, that's on their website that I need for social, that's usually a red flag for me, because it shouldn't be pulling teeth. It shouldn't be painful. We're working towards the same cause, we're on the same team. So if they're giving you grief about it, maybe rethink if that is the best client for you. What is something that you wish you did differently within your business? I mean, I wouldn't really say that there is much that I wish I did differently, but I think I wish there were things I did sooner. So I really wish that I had adopted a CRM platform sooner. I have talked about HoneyBook before, and I actually do have a $1 link for you guys still. I found out it's still active. So you can try HoneyBook for $1 a month for the first 8 months, which is just an absolutely incredible deal. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I need a CRM software too, seriously try this. It's $1 for the first month. I'll have that link in the description. But I do wish I had that. Basically, if you don't know what a CRM is, you can automate emails, you can store templates in there, you can keep track of all of your clients so they're in one handy little software, tool, website, whatever, instead of having documents everywhere and trying to figure out, oh, what was their phone number again? What's blah, blah, blah. It's like a virtual address book and so much more. It is absolutely amazing. So yes, I really just started formally using that this year, and I've been in business for a long time. So there's been a lot of Google Docs going around, a lot of paper, and it's just why, I also wish that I invested in mentorship sooner. I have seen my most successful year ever this year, which is exciting, but I've also spent the most money on my business. I have outsourced and hired more than ever before. And I've also, one of the big things that I did was I invested in a group coaching program, which it's weird because I kind of didn't really feel like it was doing a lot for me. I don't know. I wasn't like, oh, I have this massive breakthrough every time I get off of a call. But I think just having that accountability, even with my team too, like having a weekly call on the calendar with the team means I need to be making progress, because if I'm not making progress, how am I going to expect that they are? So having those types of accountability has been so helpful, even without me really like realizing it. You know, like I said, I didn't have breakthroughs every time I got off of a call, but I think over time, those things really did help. And then lastly, I'm gonna just keep saying this forever. You guys are gonna get tired of hearing me say this all year. Charge more. I really wish I would have charged more. I don't think I'm severely undercharging, but I definitely think that I did for a long time, especially in the beginning. And you know, it doesn't help anybody. Okay, I'm gonna just answer 3 more questions because we're running out of time here. How to not spend hours preparing a monthly content calendar for clients. This is what I really wanted to answer because honestly, you're gonna spend hours. I mean, like I know that that is not the fun answer to hear, but think about it. A month's worth of content is, yeah, it's probably gonna take a couple hours to put together. This is something that I've been feeling a little bit frustrated with, not with this person by any means, please don't take it this way, but just like with this whole get rich quick kind of culture, you know, on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook ads and stuff, is I don't sell that. Like I do real work. I do primarily organic content, you know, it takes time. I don't know how else to say it. And I know this person didn't mean it in a bad way, but yeah, this takes time. Like I'm not recommending that you become a social media manager if you want to work for an hour a day. Can you get to the point where you're working short days? Yes, like I said, Fridays, I don't barely work. I like have a couple meetings in the morning and then I'm clocked out. And you can get to that point if you build a team, if you build up your processes so that you're being efficient and you can charge higher rates so you take on less clients. You can get to that point, but you're not gonna be building a content calendar in 20 minutes. That's not the kind of work that I recommend doing. I recommend doing quality work and it does take time. So some things that can speed it up, like I said, hiring a team. So if maybe you are in charge of taking the photos and then you have a teammate who does the copywriting or vice versa, or a teammate can schedule or do engagement for you, like those things can all, you know, speed things up. And then also repurposing content. You don't need to create a new piece of content for every single platform. You can tweak it a little bit so that it works for different platforms. Month to month, you can take some of the highest performing posts from 6 months ago, repurpose them so that you're not, you know, completely reinventing the wheel. So there are things that can speed things up. This one is about the toolbox. It says, in what order do you send or use your social media management toolbox? So it's actually in order. I think the only one that's a little out of order is there's the buyer persona template that's kind of at the bottom of that section. The reason I put that there is because a lot of companies already have some type of a buyer persona or a customer avatar built out. So that's kind of optional, but for the most part, I go through these documents in that order, more or less. And then the last question I'm gonna answer today is, can you share the story of how you started doing your business? / another one said, how many years have you been freelancing? So I started freelancing around 2013. So it's been around 7, almost 8 years. I don't know the exact date, but it's around there. So about 7 or 8 years. And let me know, you guys, I feel like I've told this story before here and there, but comment down below if you'd like me to do a video or a podcast about how exactly I got started. And I can really go in detail, but long story short, I was in college, ran across a job ad on Upwork. I applied for it. It was called Freelance back then, but it's Upwork. Applied for it, got it. And then got referrals. Like I said, a video client got referred to me, and then just kind of like, you know, bobbed around, like did Upwork projects, did referral projects, and over time my business grew and I was able to quit my day job, and here we are. So yeah, let me know if you'd like the full details in a video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this was helpful and enjoyable for you all. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I will talk to you for my next one very soon. Bye.